Welcome to today's explainer. I was absolutely blown away when going through our source material for this one, because we are going to uncover the awe-inspiring truth about something you probably thought you already completely understood: vitamin D. We're going to dive deep and reveal a fascinating, wildly complex system operating right under your skin. Literally. So let's explore the biological marvel that is your internal hormone factory.
Okay, let's jump right into this with a question that might just challenge everything you thought you knew. What if the most famous vitamin isn't actually a vitamin? I mean, when we hear vitamin D, we instantly think of a standard everyday nutrient, right? Maybe something floating around in a glass of fortified milk or a daily gummy pill. But as we're about to see, that simple label is a massive understatement for one of the most powerful and intricate molecules in human biology.
Our source material reveals a huge paradigm shift. Vitamin D actually functions as a potent steroid hormone. And its active form, which is called calcitriol, doesn't just passively float around in your body. It actively binds to intracellular receptor proteins, and then it physically moves right into the nucleus of your target cells to interact directly with your DNA. It acts exactly like a key, selectively unlocking your DNA to stimulate gene expression and regulate vital systems. It's honestly incredible. Section 1. The hero's journey. From sunbeams to supermolecules. It actually takes 3 completely different organ systems to build our active supermolecule. It's a real assembly line. Step 1 starts in your skin. A cholesterol precursor, 7-dehydrocholesterol, is struck by ultraviolet light from the sun. But it's not active yet. For step 2, it travels over to your liver, where enzymes convert it into something called 25-OHD3, which is basically the major storage form in your blood. Finally, step 3. It travels down to the kidneys, where a final enzyme flips the switch and activates it into calcitriol. Boom! The factory process is complete. So, once this hormone is fully activated and ready to go, what is its actual day job? Well, its overall function is to be the master biochemical regulator of your plasma calcium levels. First, it heads to your intestine to radically increase your uptake of calcium and phosphate from whatever you've eaten. Second, it signals the kidneys to essentially lock the doors and minimize any loss of calcium. And third, if necessary, it stimulates the mobilization of calcium directly from your bone reservoir. It is a brilliant, completely self-regulating feedback loop. Section 2. Roadblocks and deficiencies. When the internal factory slows down. Everyday life throws up some literal roadblocks to this microscopic biochemistry. Think about the very first step of our factory, the skin absorbing UV light. It's super easily blocked. For instance, if you have higher levels of melanin, your skin beautifully absorbs UV rays, but that simultaneously decreases its ability to synthesize that initial vitamin D precursor. If you live way up in northern latitudes, the sunlight is just naturally weaker. In big cities, smog and tall buildings literally block the sun from reaching you. Plus, our modern habits, like staying indoors all day or wearing heavy sunscreen, prevent those essential UV rays from ever kicking off that vital first conversion. And because of those roadblocks, a lot of people are walking around not realizing their internal factory is barely running. So how does a lack of active vitamin D physically show up in your life? Well, you might just feel persistently tired or have these unexplained aches and pains. As the deficiency gets worse, you can start experiencing severe bone or muscle weakness. Ultimately, because your body literally cannot maintain its calcium, you become highly susceptible to stress fractures, particularly in weight-bearing areas like your legs, pelvis, and your hips. It's not just feeling a bit off, it's a fundamental breakdown of your body's structural integrity. To really wrap our heads around why this matters, let's picture healthy bone mineralization. It features a complete collagen matrix packed with proper calcium and phosphate levels, which is what keeps your bones strong and rigid. But when we look at the clinical impacts of deficiency, things get serious. In children, incomplete mineralization leads to nutritional rickets, which leaves their growing bones soft and pliable. In adults, it causes osteomalacia, where bones become incredibly fragile and prone to breaking. That microscopic DNA-level regulation we talked about earlier, it is absolutely unequivocally vital to your macro-level health. And the breakdown can happen internally too. Our sources highlight a condition called renal osteodystrophy. Remember step 3 of our factory? Down in the kidneys? Well, if a patient experiences chronic kidney failure, it completely destroys the body's ability to perform that final step to form active vitamin D. In those cases, all the sunshine in the world won't help. The factory is essentially broken at the final assembly line, which requires direct medical intervention and actual calcitriol supplementation to prevent some very severe bone and calcium crises. Section 3. Fueling your factory. Getting your daily dose. Okay, so here is a key number I want you to keep in mind: 600 IU. The recommended dietary allowance for children, teens, and adults right up to age 70 is 15 micrograms, which translates to 600 international units a day. If you're over 70, that bumps up a bit to 800 IU. The ultimate goal here is to keep your blood serum range sitting nicely between 50 and 100 nanomoles per liter. But as we just learned, with all those roadblocks, getting that from the sun alone is pretty tough for a lot of us. Fortunately, our sources highlight some highly actionable food choices to help boost your levels. Fatty fish are fantastic for this. We're talking salmon, sardines, herring, even canned tuna. There are also fortified options out there like milk, yogurt, and orange juice. Interestingly enough, mushrooms are on the list, especially those that have been treated with UV light. And of course, there are incredibly dense sources like cod liver oil, beef liver, and egg yolks. Given the roadblocks we all face, using a smart mix of diet, safe sun exposure, and maybe even a supplement is often what it takes to keep your factory running at peak efficiency. Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. You are no longer just thinking about a simple vitamin sitting in a glass of milk. You now know the awe-inspiring multi-organ biochemical truth. Knowing that your body is a complex steroid hormone factory, continuously working to unlock your DNA and build your very structural foundation, how will you ensure it gets the raw materials it needs today? Think about that as you go about your day. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.